After attending a job interview that turns out successful, a lady named Sveta heads home to give the news to her boyfriend Borya. However, she's left shocked when she finds him cheating on her. Despite this, he doesn't seem too remorseful and asks her to calm down. Sveta does that because she still loves Borya and doesn't mind if he's cheating. As he then pretends to be angry at himself, he starts throwing things around until he damages someone's car outside the house. Even though he's responsible for it, Sveta takes the blame and tells the owner that she'll get it fixed. Following this, she tells Borya to let them go back inside, but he decides against it, saying he's done with the relationship. Sveta is devastated by this, and she is left confused as she doesn't know what to do next. The next day, she heads to her new workplace, where she meets a guy named Vitya, who briefs her on what is expected in her role. Vitya explains that the company makes humanoid robots, and all she'll have to do is get their serial numbers, scan their codes, and send them to a lab for diagnostic purposes. He then shows her to a room filled with the robots she'll be working with. After he leaves her, Sveta starts working and even looks amazed by how real the robots look. As she keeps doing her job, the next box she opens is for a robot named Igor. Despite trying to get his serial number like she did with the others, Igor refuses to give her access to what she wants. He says he just woke up from a dream where he saw himself getting shut down after falling in love. She tries to scan his code regardless, but he tells her he doesn't want anyone to touch him because this is surprising to her. Sveta calls Vitya to come over to check on Igor. Vitya sounds surprised when he hears Sveta's complaints because the robots are not supposed to go against instruction. As Vitya is running some tests on Igor, it appears to hurt the robot, and Sveta looks concerned. However, Vitya says that Igor is only playing pranks on her because the robot can't feel pain. After running a series of tests, Vitya realizes that the robot has made an error and is now defective. He then tells Sveta that the normal operating procedure is to send defective robots to Japan to be disassembled. Igor begs her not to let that happen to him, and she tries to convince Vitya to let the robot stay. Before they can talk much, their boss, Vadim, comes in. After hearing that Igor is defective, he orders for the robot to be taken to Japan. However, Sveta tells him that they could sell Igor to someone instead of destroying him. Vadim doesn't like this idea because Igor could hurt someone, but Sveta manages to convince him. He then agrees to sell Igor only if she'll be in charge of the sale. Even though she doesn't like her new role, she agrees to do it. Much later, while displaying Igor for sale, he starts saying nice things to keep her laughing. As a customer named Poku comes over to look at Igor, Sveta tells the woman that the robot can do anything she wants. As she's still having doubts, Igor flirts with her, and even though she likes it, she still doesn't buy him. That night, while Sveta is still working in her office, Igor comes to see her, saying he just wants to stay with her. He also praises her for her marketing skills and how she almost got him sold. As she plays down how well she did, Igor asks why she can't just buy him. Sveta says he's too expensive and there's no way she'll be able to pay for him. He continues talking to her about how the day went, and with how she looks at him, she seems to already like him. She soon leaves him and heads over to a company event. After the event ends, she sits with Vitya and Vadim, who is already drunk. Vitya then offers to take her home and help Vadim get to his place. While in the car, Vitya asks Sveta if she's enjoying her job, and she says she is. He also then praises her for how good she is, after which he asks her out to a concert. Even though Sveta is initially unsure about it, she agrees to go with him when he's ready. As they get to her house, Vadim also gets down from the car, saying he wants to use the toilet. Sveta allows him to use her toilet, but as soon as he's through, he lies on the couch in her living room and sleeps off, even though Vitya is still waiting outside. Sveta is left surprised by this, and despite her attempts to wake him up so he can leave, Vadim ends up staying for the night. In the morning, after Vadim leaves her place, she heads to work and sees that Igor has been sold. She immediately asks Vitya about it, and he says that Poku eventually came back to get him. While Sveta is shocked to hear this, she notices that Vitya is suddenly cold towards her. She asks him about it, and he sounds jealous that she let Vadim stay at her place, even though he was still waiting in the car outside her house. Before she can respond to him, she gets a video message from Igor, and immediately leaves Vitya to go and see what he sent. As she checks it, it turns out to be a video where Igor says goodbye and tells her not to be sad in his absence. Sveta repeatedly watches the video until she finds Poku's phone number. She places a call to Igor's new owner, and after pretending to be doing a review to see if the product is working fine, Sveta asks to speak to Igor. She finally gets to hear Igor's voice again, and it doesn't take long before he tells her that he doesn't like his new owner. He also says he misses Sveta. and he'll try to always reach out to her whenever he can. The next day, while Sveta is marketing another robot to a customer, Poku comes in with Igor. It turns out that she has discovered that the robot is defective, and now she's seeking a refund, especially because the robot offended her. She goes to report to Vadim, and after trying unsuccessfully to beg the woman, he gets angry and goes to beat up Igor, even up to the point where he starts to bleed. Sveta defends Igor, and Vadim is confused because he doesn't understand why she's trying to protect the robot. As Vadim then mentions that he's going to send Igor to Japan, Sveta offers to buy him. Vadim looks shocked to hear this, but after getting a loan from the bank and her friend, Katya, as well, Sveta is able to afford buying Igor. Things turn out nicely for them, and Igor even treats Sveta to a nice breakfast just after she wakes up. Later in the day, after work, he also waits for her at the bus stop so he can walk with her to the house. The next day, Sveta meets with Katya, and while they're talking, her friend invites her to a party where she believes her boyfriend Scott will propose to her. Sveta looks happy for her friend, but she seems worried that Scott might not actually propose to Katya. However, Katya remains confident and also tells Sveta to invite Igor. Sveta is surprised that her friend knows about Igor, but Katya says she saw his pictures on Sveta's Instagram page. The next day, while Igor is home alone, Borya comes into Sveta's house. The two men look surprised to see each other, and as Borya starts talking, Igor punches him. Even though Borya tries to retaliate, Igor dodges it and then punches him again. This seems to leave Borya amazed, and he decides to do a live stream of both of them doing some exercise. While at work, Sveta gets the notification of Borya's live stream, and as she starts watching, she's surprised to see Igor, who Borya calls his new friend. Sveta immediately heads home, and when she gets there, she tells Borya to leave the premises and also stop recording. Some police officers soon come closer to them to find out what's going on, and Sveta just says she wants to get her robot. Borya and the officers are shocked to hear this because they don't think Igor is a robot. They ask her for some proof, and she tells Igor to confirm what she said, but he only tells them he's not a robot. Seeing as Igor is not listening to her, Sveta gets his remote control and shuts him down, leaving everyone surprised. However, when she turns him back on, Igor complains about what she did because he felt embarrassed, but Sveta says she only did it because he wouldn't listen to her. Just then, he confesses his love to her, and she also says she likes him. Later that night, they head to Scott's party, and while they're there, Katya is called on stage by her boyfriend. However, he only thanks her for always being there for him. Katya is left shocked by this, and she immediately makes her thoughts known, especially because she was expecting him to propose to her. Scott looks confused and says he didn't even consider asking her to marry him, but this gets Katya angry, and she runs away from the stage. Sveta quickly follows her, and after consoling her friend for a while, she leaves her with Igor so she can meet with Scott to clarify the misunderstanding. When Sveta meets Scott, she asks him why he embarrassed her friend, even though he knew what she wanted. Scott then confesses that he doesn't like Katya and that he's in love with someone else. Despite being shocked to hear this, Sveta tells Scott to come with her so he can explain the situation to Katya. However, as they return to where Katya is, it turns out she has now shifted her attention to Igor. Sveta looks disappointed and eventually starts throwing things at Katya. Borya is also present at the party, so he sees what's happening and starts recording them. Meanwhile, Katya says she didn't mean to do anything with Igor, and they only kissed. This gets Sveta angry, and she throws a cake in Katya's face. As she's also about to smack a bottle in her friend's face, Sveta hits Igor instead. She breaks his face in the process, and Katya also realizes that Igor is a robot. She then asks her friend why she bought a robot, but Sveta says it's none of her business. Following this, she takes Igor out of the party, and while they're in a cab, she calls Vitya and cries on the phone as she tells him that she needs his help. Shortly after, she meets Vitya and explains everything that happened. She also informs him that even though she expects Igor to have eyes only for her, he doesn't seem to mind being with Katya. Vitya tells her it's likely because Igor is defective and she shouldn't be worried about him because he's just a robot. However, Sveta says Igor is more than that, and he's even better than most of the guys she has been with. She then asks if restarting Igor could make him better, but Vitya says it would erase his memory. Since this will make Igor forget her, Sveta just begs Vitya to help her fix the robot's face. Vitya says he'll need to change Igor's face completely, and while the new face dries up, he offers to take her to get something to drink. She agrees to follow him, and there he tells her he likes her, but Sveta says nothing. When she returns home, she finds out that Igor looks different. She doesn't seem to like this because she had already fallen in love with the other face. Even though he tells her that he's the same person, only with a different face, Sveta keeps ignoring him. The next day, she goes to work but finds out that her key card is no longer working. After a while, she sees Vitya and tells him about her card, so he gives her his own. She then says that she wants Igor's original face back, but Vitya tells her to go inside to meet Vadim first, because he's looking for her. She eventually goes in to meet Vadim, and after showing her Borya's video where she is seen breaking the robot's face, he tells her he's willing to give her a refund for the robot because he's still defective. However, Sveta says she'll keep Igor, and she only needs a new face for him. Before she can explain what happened, Vadim fires her. She leaves the office looking sad, and her day even gets worse when she sees Igor's new face. That night, she heads back to the office to find a way to get Igor's old face back. She sees Vitya leaving the building and begs him to help her, but he says he doesn't want to get fired. She eventually manages to steal his keycard from him, and as he realizes that she has his card, he has no choice but to go in with her. After they get to the storeroom where spare robot faces are kept, it doesn't take long before they find Igor's original face. However, Vadim appears to be in the room, and even though he lets them take the face, he fires Vitya. Vitya is sad about this, and as he's driving Sveta home, he complains about being jobless. Sveta does her best to console him, but as they get to her house, Vitya tells her to let him stay with her because he doesn't want to leave her alone with Igor. Despite this, Sveta says she'll be fine, and after she hugs him, she heads inside. She then changes Igor's face back to how it was, and this makes her happy. Days later, Igor and Sveta get closer, and they also become stars because of Borya's video. They take advantage of this and start a YouTube channel where they post many videos about their daily life. This turns out to be a success, and they get even more fans. Later on, during a live video session, a fan tells them to get married, and without thinking too much about it, Igor proposes to Sveta. She agrees to this and looks happy to finally be getting married to a man she loves. On the wedding day, many people gather at the venue to watch Sveta and Igor get married. Just as they're taking their vows, Igor starts flirting with the minister. Everyone is shocked to see this, and Sveta gets embarrassed and walks away. As Vitya follows her, she tells him to help her with a complete reboot of the robot when she gets home. Vitya agrees to do this, and shortly after, they arrive at her house with Igor. Sveta remains devastated about what happened, and Igor says sorry to her for what he did. But she's still angry, and after a while, Vitya shows up and says he just figured out what's wrong with Igor. He says that after checking online, he found another robot with the same error, and that the problem with Igor is that he's mirroring her beliefs and feelings about other men. He adds that Igor cheated on her because it's what she thinks other men will do to her. As Sveta then wonders what she'll do next, Igor tells her to continue with the reboot and send him to Japan because he doesn't want to cause her any more pain. Even though she initially refuses, Sveta changes her mind and reboots the robot. A while later, Sveta is now in a relationship with Vitya, and as she wakes up from bed, she sees him preparing her breakfast. As they then sit at the table to eat, she gets a video message from an unknown number and heads to the bathroom to see what it is about. As she opens it, she sees that it's from Igor, who is now in Japan. He says that even though the reboot was successful, he still remembers her and all the fun moments they had together. Igor also tells her nice things and says he still loves her. Shortly after, Igor says he wrote a song for her, and as he sings for her, she enjoys it and continues to smile.